What's up, guys? It's your boy, the king of digital real estate. My name's Nick Wood. That's Isaac Krantz. More to come. Guys, let's talk about how to know if a city is too competitive. How do you know if you're going into a city where you are going to lose, okay? And I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. If you pick the wrong city and niche combination, you are dead in the water. You will not rank, or if you do rank, it's going to take you 14, 16, 24 months to rank that thing, and you're not going to make the profit that's required. One of the best parts of this business model is how big the profit margins are. But the reason why the profit margins are so big is because on the back end of selling these deals, we can rank the websites, get rid of the ads, and make those big margins that are very similar to another product that I can't mention, or I might get this video pulled. So guys, let me give you guys some tips of how to pick a good city. First of all, if you pick the wrong niche, you're dead, okay? If you pick the wrong niche, you will not go anywhere. Make sure that your niche is something that is high ticket, okay? $2,000 to $10,000 or more, something that has good volume, and something that's not seasonal. We don't want something like snow plowing. We don't want something like Christmas lights, none of that stuff. We want stuff that is pretty steady year-round, even though everything is seasonal to a degree. So then what you're going to do is you want to figure out what keywords are people searching for. What are the things that people, so let's take concrete, right? With concrete, the #1 most searched term, and I know this because I've looked it up, is concrete itself. The word concrete is the #1 most searched term. Boom. Second most searched term, concrete contractors, okay? And I'm going to go and shimmy out of here before the kids come in. You got me. Tell them what's up. The second most searched term is concrete contractors. Next most searched term is probably going to be concrete removal or concrete companies. You need to make a list of the terms that are the most searched within that niche, okay? Once you've done this, you're going to go through really quickly and edit those terms to make sure, let me kick my lights on here, guys. Let me kick them on. Make sure that those terms are not terms that do not have buyer's intent. Let me shut the door. Kids can't scream. You know what it's like, man. Having those kiddos. So you edit the list. You make sure that the list does not include any keywords that do not have buyer's intent. Let me give you an example. Somebody that is searching for DIY concrete, okay? Not somebody I want calling my website. Not somebody who I want to get the lead from. Or somebody that's searching cheap concrete near me. Not somebody that's probably going to turn into something that I want. So I'm going to get rid of all those terms, and I'm going to make a list of 5 to 7 terms, my best terms, okay? Then we're going to do something, this is the key. We're going to go to Google, we're going to clear the browsing history, we're going to open up an incognito window, and we are going to plug in each of these terms with the keyword on the back end, okay? So concrete, Las Vegas, NV, or Las Vegas, Nevada. Concrete contractors, Las Vegas, Nevada, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. 5 to 7 of those terms. And here's how you figure out if a city is competitive, okay? You go and you look at the results. When you're in an incognito window, which by the way, if any of you don't know what that means or why we would do that, we do that because it's like somebody searching for the first time. It's like somebody who's never searched before, because if you're searching from your phone that always searches, it's going to have skewed results. So we do this for 5 to 7 terms, and we look at the commonalities. And if joesconcrete.com is showing up #1 in the maps and #1 organically for every single term, Joe is a threat. Joe is somebody I need to watch out for. Joe is somebody I need to look at what he's doing, and I need to figure out how I'm going to beat him, okay? If the next person is Las Vegas concreteco.com, and they're also showing up for every single term in the maps and every single term organically, again, we got to look at that. So here's what you want to look for. This is where you're going to find opportunities, and this is how you find out if a city is too competitive. And this is my telltale sign. If I do all those steps and I take those 5 to 7 terms and I put them in Google in an incognito window, and there is out of the 5 to 7 terms, there are 3 companies in the maps that keep showing up consistently over and over. So let's say it's Joe's, it's Las Vegas Concrete Co., and then it's Southern Concrete. And every single term, or the majority, 5 out of 7 of the terms, those same companies are showing up in the maps. That's a red flag, okay? That's a big red flag because that means they've got a really good stronghold on that map section. So I'm looking for that. And if I see it and I see the same 3 companies showing up for the majority of the terms, that's a red flag #1. Second red flag, and this is the one where if I see it, I'm out, okay, is if those 3 companies, that's step #1, those 3 companies, the majority of the terms, they're showing up in the maps, the top 3 of the maps. If those companies, if you look at their search results, what I mean by that is underneath the maps, you look at where they show up organically. If those 3 companies are also showing up on page 1, so let's say Joe's Concrete is showing up underneath the maps at number 1. That's page 1. And let's say that Las Vegas Concrete Co. is showing up number 5 on page 1. That's page 1. And let's say that Southern Concrete is showing up on page 1 and underneath the maps, spot number 8. All 3 in the maps, all 3 organically for the majority of the terms. I'm out. I'm not doing it. I'm not going to. And I got to explain the logic behind this. Now, what that essentially means is this. If I see that the 3 in the maps are consistent, it shows me that they've got a pretty good bearing. They've kind of dominated the local niches, right? But it also shows me they also know what they're doing on SEO. And so if I see those two things, and I see it for the majority of those top 5 to 7 keywords, I don't care how good everything else looks. I don't care how low the CPC is. I will not go into that city. That's it. That's very, very simple. The second I see that, I'm out. Now, if I'm looking at it and let's say those same 3 companies, they show up for 2 of the terms, and then the other 5 terms that I searched, it's a scramble, and there's random companies here, random companies there, and I only see them for 2, and let's say that they're not showing up on page 1, but maybe Joe's on page 2, and Las Vegas Concrete Co's on page 5, and Southern's on page 8. Awesome. I'm going in, and I'm going in full freaking bore. Guys, this is my number 1 tip when picking a city. Make sure that you choose the right keywords, okay? Make sure those keywords have high buyer's intent. Make sure you take those keywords and plug them back into Google into an incognito window. And then look and see how many times those companies that when you type those keywords in, how many times those companies show up in the maps and where their position is organically. And if you see that the majority of the time they're in the maps, the same companies are in the maps, and they're also on page 1, that is a very strong and good indication that is going to be a hell of a site to rank. It's going to be a very tough competitive niche, and I don't care how freaking low the CPC is, how good you're feeling, how excited you're feeling, how bad you want to get into that city. It is going to be work that you do not want to sign up for. That is my tip for you, and that is when I do not go into a city.